Have you traveled to South Korea?
Yes.
Do you know Korean?
Yes.
My answer to those two questions are yes and no, except for a few key phrases, such as 안녕하세요, which means hi, 감사합니다, which means thank you, and macho-io, which means very tasty. I met the most amazing and beautiful person I know in 2011. And after dating for a year and a half and passing Hayes' mother's "does he smoke? Does he drink?" test, it was time to travel to South Korea, the homeland, peninsula. In preparation for the trip, Hay did a family tree with her sisters and brother and in-laws and children. Well, once we got to children and grandchildren, I was overwhelmed. Hay has a huge family. She's got 4 sisters and 1 brother. We arrived in Incheon International Airport, and 2 Hay's sisters picked us up, or met us at the airport. Ok-san and Myung-san. Myung-san gave us a ride to her condo in Seoul, and the first thing that she did was bring out a huge spread of food. I was in smorgasbord heaven. We each had a bowl of rice, and there were probably 10 or 12 different dishes with veggies, fruits, anchovies, mushrooms, all kinds of good stuff. The first test was chopstick test. I thought I was very adept at using chopsticks until Myung-sun went over and came back with their granddaughter's training chopsticks. These things were 5 inches long, a little tiny hole for the thumb to go through, and they were hinged. Everybody thought that was really fun. I'd always been taught to clean off my plate. Well, this was a new challenge because there were about 10 or 12 plates to clean up. So the best I could do was start to clean up one plate or another plate. And just as soon as I would clean up a plate, Myung-sun would run over to the refrigerator, replenish it, and bring it back. Well, I tried it about 2 or 3 times, and Hay whispered in my ear, "You got to just quit eating." Hay and I then traveled from Seoul to Jeju Island. This is a beautiful island south of the peninsula. It has oranges and figs. This is where Hay grew up. Her other sister, another sister, Usan, met us at the airport. And she gave us a ride over, and we met this beautiful 92-year-old, 4'2" tall woman, Hay's mother. The first thing Hay's mother said to Hay was, "He sure is tall." The second thing she said was, "You need to feed him more rice." I fell in love with her immediately. We spent a few days on Jeju Island, and every day, Hay's mother would say to Hay, "He looks younger every day." I really do love this woman. Hay and I and her mother then boarded a plane. We went back to Seoul and visited another sister, Chisun. Chisun has a 3-bedroom condo with 1 chair in the condo. It's a chair that goes to the desk with the computer. There's no beds. So now there's a couple challenges, a couple tests. One, when they bring out the dining room tables that are 1 foot long, and by the way, they're portable, they fold up and just stack away. How long can I sit cross-legged with my back straight and be comfortable? I failed that test. My back got really tired. The other test was, how comfortable am I going to be sleeping on a mat on the floor? I passed that test. One day we had a family reunion. Sisters, spouses, kids, grandkids all showed up, and they put three of these tables for 16 people. You can imagine all these dishes on all the tables, multiples on different tables. New test. And this was actually a setup by Hay. She whispered into my ear as some of the dishes made it to the kitchen. Why don't you go and do the dishes? So I got up to do the dishes. I went to the kitchen sink, turned on the water, and Usan spotted me. She immediately hustled over, bumped me out of the way from the kitchen. There was no way that a man was going to do dishes on her watch. We finished up the family reunion, and everybody gave their hugs. I gave my kamsa hamnidas, my thank yous to everybody. And Mr. Young put me on notice. He said to me, as translated through Hay, "You better be nice to Hay. I'll be watching you." Later, Hay and I laughed about it because Mr. Young has very poor eyesight. Have you ever traveled to a foreign country and had culture shock?
Yes.
Madam Toastmaster?